If we're so thin-skinned that we can never have a customer complaint, we're not going to be successful marketers, because no matter what you do, you're never going to please every single person all the time. It ain't gonna. And you can't create a product that pleases every single person all the time. I want to make a lot of money. That's not a good one. And I want to sip wine on the beach in the Cayman Islands. That will get you derailed every time. So let's jump in now to some of these cornerstones of direct marketing. The first one I would say is diversity. And if you don't remember anything, remember this. It's easier to find 100 people to spend $1,000 with you than 1,000 people to spend $100 with you. The cost of marketing is customer acquisition. Every customer costs something to acquire, okay? And once you have a customer, especially if it's a loyal customer, they want to buy more. The one-stop shop works. Why? Why does Walmart work? Well, you can get your oil change, you get diapers, bananas, and TV dinners all in one place, okay? Now, we're not going to be a Walmart, but what I am suggesting is that the closer we can come to a one-stop shop, the better off we're going to be. Because if we can take an existing customer that's $100 a year and we can turn them into $200 a year with another product or a value-added product or a totally complementary product. Because remember, the person that makes the sale owns the customer. The person that makes the sale owns the customer. So if you collaborate with 10 farmers in your area to present a pretty well-rounded cornucopia of options to your customer, and you can take that customer that was just buying beef, and that customer can now buy squash, watermelon, pumpkin pie, and radishes, okay? The cost of customer acquisition was handled at the first sale. You know, Alan used to always say, you never make money on your first sale. Stockman Grass Farmer, we never make money on the first subscription. We only make money on renewals. Why? Because of turnover rate and because of the cost of acquiring that first customer. So, we're constantly thinking about diversifying our portfolio, owning that customer. So if all you're doing right now is grass-finished beef, think about either you producing or collaborating with somebody or bringing somebody into the program where you can offer chicken, pork, okay, apples, vinegar, all right? Because the cost of customer acquisition is that high. Which brings me to the next point, is that you can't do it all. Okay? Nobody can do it all. So you're going to start to put together complementary people. Now, every single one of us has strengths and weaknesses. If you're familiar with the business program Strengths Finders, okay? Strengths Finders, some of us grew up with grandma or grandpa, whatever, telling us, you're pretty weak here, you need to work on that. Okay? Now, I'm not talking about character development like, telling the truth. But I'm talking about we have different strengths and weaknesses. Some people tend to be more analytical. Some people tend to be more engineer type. We have introverts, extroverts, messies, cleanies, organized, disorganized. We've got people that are planners and people that are spontaneous. And that's all good, all right? And in farming, almost always, we see people migrating to certain themes. You don't normally see a person who is equally passionate and good at raising both plants and animals. we tend to gravitate either toward livestock or toward plants. And in plants, we even gravitate between annuals like gardening versus perennials like orcharding. Okay? So there's enough to go around here that it can occupy everybody's ambition and passion and talent, but it's also so diverse that we can't be experts in all these fields. Okay? And the truth is, almost no successful business works by itself. When we do the business school, Steve and I spend a fair amount of time on this element. So I'm not going to belabor this point. Just I want us to understand that sometimes the weakness of our business is that we simply don't have enough on our platter to offer to be able to leverage the customer that we have. Okay? This is one of the big problems with exotics. Some of you are old enough to remember back several years ago when emus and ostriches were that was the big deal. We're all going to get into, and alpacas and llamas, and then it was bison. And the problem with all those exotics is that they are, well, everybody wants to try ostrich once, right? But are you going to eat it every Sunday afternoon? No, okay? And so this was the problem. Bison, anything that's a bit exotic, the reason it's exotic is because it's a specialty. It's a once in a while kind of thing, okay? And so complementary people. Now, this also is included in talents, all right? And so you say, well, my lands, I'm not even making a living on the farm. How am I going to get a salesperson? All right. That's why I've got commissions written there, okay? Commissions allow you to tap into somebody else's talent without getting into a wage thing. Again, we spend a lot of time on this in the business school, so I'm not going to belabor it here. Just realize that of our 20 people, not a single person is an hourly wage earner. I don't believe in it, okay? You either do salary with clearly defined objectives, or you do a hybrid salary plus bonus, or you go completely to piecework, or you go subcontractor, okay? But this hourly thing is for the birds. And so, my favorite story is that beautiful lady sitting in the back, Sherry, our daughter-in-law. See, we handpicked her for Daniel. We had a series of criteria here, and we sat down and what we were looking for, he said, what do we really want here? Well, we want a gal that can go square dancing on Friday night all gussied up, and Saturday morning enjoys gutting chickens. That's what we're looking for, and we got her. All right. Well, when they got married, Sherry's poking around. Well, what can I do? And I mean, at the time there were 4 or 5 Salatin women, and now there's another one. And so you got to kind of poke around and see where you're gonna find a spot at this trough. And we had just started the buying club idea about a year before they got married. It was fledgling. It was totally prototype. It was very, very small. And she said, I think I'd like to take that over. Well, the problem was, we didn't know if she could sell. For all we knew, she just wanted to, get
square dance and get chickens.
Wanted to just eat chocolate bonbons and get paid by the hour to knit. And so we said, well, how about we put you on commission? And to her credit, her self-confidence, I'll go on commission. And so no guaranteed pay. Are you with me? No, nothing. In other words, if she doesn't sell, it doesn't cost anything. And that was because we can't take the risk of hiring somebody on a prototype, a fledgling deal, and guarantee some sort of a $10,000, maybe it's going to be a part-time deal, maybe, but still, how do you know if it's going to work, And then you got tension, and then of course, if she turned out to be a dud, then you got to fire your daughter-in-law, and that doesn't help the family situation very much. And so we started down, and within 10 years, she ran this up to almost $1 million in annual sales, and she's going to talk to you about it this afternoon. But what I'm getting at is that was a partnership that allowed us to tap into somebody else's talent without the risk of a paycheck. So the only way that it was going to cost us anything was it was going to make sales go way up. Well, that's not a cost, that's a benefit. All right? So as long as you know your margins, and as long as you have this cost of commissions plugged in to your price, you can have as many partners out here as you want. So we have several people who sell, and they're all on commission. That, worldwide, salespeople are always on commission, pretty much, right? Why? Because that's an easy way to measure performance. I'm Joel Salatin, editor of Stockman Grass Farmer. Thank you for watching this Stockman Grass Farmer video, where grass farming is celebrated for its possibilities and opportunities. You'll find more at the links here to find additional material in our library. You can see a lot of different videos and enjoy learning more about grass farming. We look forward to visiting with you more and more here as you make Stockman Grass Farmer part of your video portfolio.